So tomorrow, July 7th, Thursday night previews begin for Thor, Love and Thunder, and then Friday it has this actual full day in the movie theaters. I'm really curious to how this film is going to perform in the box office. Personally, I think it's going to hit $1 billion. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness almost hit it, and that movie was kind of weak. I didn't really like it that much. Some people did. I've already went over my complaints of that movie. Now we're here. So the first reactions for this movie were pretty funny because it was the greatest Marvel movie since the last Marvel movie. Every Marvel movie is the greatest until the last one, and then when the new one comes out, that'll be the greatest movie ever as well. Now that the embargo is up for this, though, there is some pretty interesting reviews. It seems like maybe that formula is starting to crack with some critics. I'm always interested in what they have to say because usually it's some of the most hilarious, over-the-top shilling you could possibly find. Because you got to remember, with some of these movies, especially with Shang-Chi, there were people calling it a life-changing experience and a triumph and all this stuff. Like, sometimes you get some really cringe shit. The cringiest of everything you can possibly read, though, is first reactions. Those aren't quite reviews. It's just kind of like 2 or 3 sentences on what people think about it. Those are usually allowed, but a full, actual, official review is not allowed until an embargo lifts. And usually that's like 1 or 2 days or a couple of days. Depends on how confident a studio is in the movie. If they're not confident, you usually won't see reviews, sometimes until the day of release for a movie. These came out a little bit earlier, and some critics are kind of harsh on it, but it doesn't really matter. This movie's going to make $1 billion, pretty much because of Chris Hemsworth. And thankfully, from what I've heard, he's in the whole movie, and he's the star of the movie. I was a little concerned that Jane Foster was going to come in there and be the top dog. Spoilers, by the way, the leaks that have been out there are true. Those have been confirmed. So, I mean, take that as you will. I don't want to spoil anything for this video for those that do want to go, but if you are used to a typical MCU ending, it's going to happen here too. That's all I'll say. So let's take a look. The Rotten Tomatoes score is up. It's sitting at 71% with 153 reviews. Now, that could rise. These are people that got to see the movie early. More reviews will start to pop up over the next couple of days, so this could rise or lower. 71% is kind of weak for a Marvel movie. Now, this doesn't mean shit. I want to be clear on that because critics, you can't really trust them, especially with Marvel stuff. But I'm really kind of shocked to see them give this such a low score because usually, I mean, they're trying to work that zipper down on the mouse so good. They want to make sure that they get their tote bags for the next movie. Cosmic Book News has done a good job of kind of grabbing some of the reviews here worth talking about. So let's go over them and talk about them a little bit. Here's what some review reactions say. Every half-written joke, the creative stasis settles in like a stale fart. That's from the review. Not a fan of the jokes. And that's like every Marvel movie at this point. It's like today's comedy movie. Love and Thunder proves the bloom is off the rose when it comes to Watati's cutesy take on the God of Thunder. It's from Tribune News Service. Here's from the Daily Beast, who would, for usual purposes, be a huge shill for Disney. Everything is pitched at such a frantically insistent pace that the intended laughs die on the vine. This one from the Independent Critic. I certainly never expected to say this about a Taika Waititi film, but the truth is I hated every minute of Thor: Love and Thunder. It's the rare Marvel movie that barely holds together, and this is from Digital Trends. Rare. Have you watched much of Phase 4, sir? Much of Phase 4 has been shit, and it seems like this movie is going to continue that cycle. It doesn't matter, though. It's still going to make $1 billion. It's like people will just go see it. I mean, they'll just see anything and support it. And maybe that's the fact that there were a ton of good ones. Those first, everything other than like one or two movies from Iron Man to Endgame were great. I loved all those movies minus maybe like 2 or 3. Thor 2, Captain Marvel, and I guess you could say maybe Iron Man 2, though I didn't think that movie was that bad. Really, the ones I didn't like that much were Thor 2 and Captain Marvel. Everything else, though, was like okay or pretty good. Like, they were just totally knocking out of the park, and now Phase 4 is just it's been utter shit. Other than Spider-Man, which was a Sony film. Here's from the Toronto Star. Waititi ups the absurdity and the antics from his first go at the Norse myth narrative with many recycled gags and diminishing returns. Polygon even trashes it. Thor: Love and Thunder isn't just a misfire, it's a scam. And this is coming from one of the biggest of shills, Polygon. I don't know, is there anyone bigger than Polygon when it comes to shillery? Not even Russell Crowe's campy version of Zeus raving about space orgies, a running gag involving screaming goats, and a pride-inclusive subplot can elevate a half-baked character piece where the sitcom-style humor runs afoul quickly. The only critic. Wow. Because usually, like, having this pride subplot, and I know what they're talking about from the leaks, would boost a movie that's, like, subpar to a 10. But they're not even giving it extra. They're saying it was so bad that that can't even save it. So, yikes. Not very good for Marvel. Though, to be fair, there are some positive ones. There's loads to enjoy here. But after 29 MCU movies, is it time to mix up the formula? A bit more love and a bit less third act thunder might be nice. And this is a positive review. Here's another one. This one gets a B. Portman and Bale contribute more than enough capital A acting bona fides to lend deeper emotional dimensions to Waititi's loose, occasionally too cheerful, but always visually adventuresome adaptation of Jason Aaron's stint on The Mighty Thor. So, kind of interesting. I'm shocked that they're not really praising this. We'll see how it is. I don't know. I don't plan on seeing it, to be honest. I'm just kind of done with Marvel. I really am interested more so in reactions in the box office and any kind of like over-the-top media shillery. I think that's always funny, but I'm just not interested in this movie. After so many awful Marvel movies and shows, I just kind of have lost interest. But I am generally curious to how it'll do. I do think it'll make $1 billion despite the mixed reviews of this movie. I think you're going to see an audience score close to 100% on here, and it's going to make $1 billion. People just eat this shit up. Life-changing stuff, I guess. Anyway, let me know what you think. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and I will see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, make sure to follow me over on Twitch. I do watch parties, play video games over there. They're always fun. Follow me over there and come hang out. Also, make sure you subscribe to YellowFlash, my other channel. There's a link to that in the description as well. I do a lot of live streams over there that I don't do on this channel. Usually smaller and a little bit more personal. So make sure you follow me over there and sign up.